Next up is Dustin Davis, a PhD candidate in interdisciplinary health sciences. His presentation title is This Place, This Moment. Dustin.
I'd like for you to imagine just for a moment that you're in this place, in this moment. You're crossing a busy intersection, maybe it's Maryland and Tropicana, and you see these cars creeping toward you just waiting for that green light. You smell toxic exhaust fill your nostrils and the wind of cars whipping behind you just smacking your body. Now imagine yourself in this place, in this moment. There are no cars anywhere, sun beaming down on you, cool breeze. And I'm asking you this question: do these places and moments feel different to you? They undoubtedly do, because you are seeing, smelling, feeling, hearing different sensations. These are just 4 of the 5 sensations, the 5th being taste. And these sensations affect what we think and what we feel emotionally. All of these things together make up what's called our inner experience. And we all have an inner experience every moment of every day. We're having one right now. In fact, we have this ability as humans to not only think about the now, like what's going on around us, but also to reside in a couple of other areas, like the past and the future. We're so good at this as a species that we actually reside here most of the time. We're thinking about the past, maybe ruminating, or we're planning for the future. So we spend our time in these areas out on the fringes, but we have the ability to come back to the now, and that's pretty unique as humans. And we can do that through mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is kind of airy. It's hard to really get your head around. But I have taken the definition from the research and kind of put it into one word. It's called mama, a word that we are all pretty familiar with. And it actually is breaking the definition down into maintaining awareness moment by moment with acceptance. So this is our definition, and we can do it in a lot of ways. We don't have to be sitting on the floor, cross-legged, candles lit all around, low light, music playing. We can do it like this while we're drinking a cup of coffee, looking out the window if we're paying attention to the aroma and to the taste. And so that's just to give you an idea that we can be mindful in any moment. And some people train in this. It's called mindfulness training. And there are a lot of benefits of it, actually. The research shows that you can improve your well-being, your sleep. You can also improve your anxiety, depression, and stress. And you know, there's this other thing that we hear about all the time that we're supposed to do that can help with a lot of these things. It's called exercise. And it's really hard to do consistently, but regular walking is just one form of exercise, and it has its own benefits, like improving heart health, like lowering our risk of early death, also improving anxiety and depression. And so my research comes at the intersection of these two interventions. It's looking for a synergy between mindfulness training and walking, and that synergy is called mindful walking, where we maintain our awareness moment by moment with acceptance while we walk. And I'm really interested specifically in doing this in nature. So outdoor areas like this, you can see a couple that are around our area. We have the Wetlands Park, and then we also have a place not far from Cedar City, Utah, which is the Thunderbird Gardens Trailhead. And early research by my advisor, Dr. James Navalta, has found that students who walk outdoors in areas that kind of look like this actually feel calmer and more comfortable than when they walk indoors in a lab or outdoors in an urban area like around campus. So that's why I'm focusing on mindful walking in these areas. And so my research is kind of in this middle area. We're trying to work our way through it as all research goes. And I've done some trial runs, and what I've learned is that it's really hard to measure mindfulness for a couple of reasons. It involves big questionnaires that are clunky, and people miss questions, and you lose the data. And as a researcher, I can tell you, losing data is one of the most frustrating things. You know, we've all been there as researchers where we lose the data and we have to kind of start from square one. So what I'm hoping to do is to figure out if we can develop new measures of mindfulness, specifically ones that are shorter and simpler, quicker, which is really nice when you're asking someone to respond during exercise because they don't want to fill out 20 questions while they're doing whatever they're doing. And so here is one example of the measure. The whole measure is called the visual analog scale, and I'll explain what it is. It's a 100 millimeter line, and you mark on the paper where that where you feel it is, and I'll show you in just a moment. But the question that participants first read is, from moment to moment, I noticed and accepted my thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and environment without judging them. Then they read, how well does the sentence describe your experience over the last 10 minutes? And then here's the visual analog scale. It's a 100 millimeter line. The left anchor, the line running up and down on the left side, is not at all like my experience, and the right anchor is exactly like my experience. Participants mark somewhere in between those two anchors how they feel, and we measure the distance from the left to that mark, and say it's 70 millimeters. We compare that to the score on the questionnaire that's long and clunky, and we're trying to see if our new measure matches what the accepted measure already says. And so that's really where I'm at. What I hope to do, if we can validate these easier and simpler measures, is to run trials of efficacy where we're trying to see what is the effect of regular mindful walking on things like anxiety, stress, depression. And so that's where I'm headed. Now, I'm really looking at undergraduate students, or hoping to, because they are actually the most anxious and depressed of all people in the United States. And so I'm really looking to find a non-medicinal way to help these students who need the help, especially over the global COVID-19 pandemic, as we've all seen. So what my advisor, Dr. Navalta, and I are doing are really exploring off the beaten path. We're some of the few in the world to be studying mindful walking, specifically outdoors, and I'm really excited to see what we find about this intervention in people who need it very badly, which is those undergraduate students. If you walk away with nothing else from today's talk, I hope it's that you feel motivated to think a little bit more about your now and take yourself out of the past or the future and come back to now. And maybe even get out and explore some of the beautiful areas around Las Vegas, such as one like this up on Mount Charleston. Thank you, I appreciate it.